Welcome to Precon Power-Ups with the Nitpicking Nerds.
This time we got the blue-white vehicles deck. Buckle up, upgraded for just $50.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds, bringing you daily Commander content. This one being a Precon Power-Up, one of our favorite videos to make in the whole world. We make videos every single day, which is part of our birthday initiative to make a video on everyone's birthday. So happy birthday to everyone whose birthday is today. If you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is patreon.com in the description.
Yes, patreon.com is the place you go to support the channel directly by giving us money. If you want to support us indirectly, what you can do is you can use the TCG Player affiliate link in the description below. Go there. It's a website where you can buy Magic cards. You buy the exact cards you were going to buy anyway. Spend the same amount of money, and guess what? The Nitpicking Nerds get a kickback just because you use that link.
It's just like throwing a little tip in a tip jar. Same is true for DragonShield.com. They got the best sleeves in the multiverse.
Good sleeves.
So if you want to go there to buy custom sleeves, regular sleeves, playmats, all that stuff, if you use our affiliate link, we just get extra money.
Yes, so let's hop into this video. What are we doing today, BZ?
Well, we got a Precon, and it's the Buckle Up Vehicles deck, and we got to upgrade it for $50 because we want to make sure there's this full package, always for less than $100. I know the Precon's always vary in price. But we want to make sure for just a little bit of money, you've got a functional deck you can take to commander tables and brawl with the best of them.
Yes, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the deck, we're going to take out the cards we don't think fit, we're going to put in cards we do think fit, and we're just going to mesh it together into a better deck that you can buy right now for under $100.
So now that we have Amber here with us, well, who's the commander?
The commander is Kotori, Pilot Prodigy. She is 1 white-blue for a 2/4 legendary creature, Moonfolk Pilot. Vehicles you control have crew 2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target artifact creature you control gains lifelink and vigilance until end of turn. So this is the vehicles Precon. We're going to be taking some cars, putting some creatures in them, and driving them to victory.
Yeah, we're going to win by pumping, cloning, and easily crewing our vehicles to create lethal attacks over several turns. One of the differences between this deck and a lot of the other Precon power-ups we do is we want to stick to the vehicles theme, obviously. We want to stick to everything. So we're not going to have as many slam dunk in-your-face victories as we normally can put in these decks to keep them super lethal at all points. So this deck's going to be a little bit weaker, but I'm super happy with the change we got to make. Just know that this deck is like a turn or two slower than a regular deck that we make.
All right, for some reason with every single Precon, there's cards that don't fit the decks absolutely at all, and we have to cut those. So we'll start with Jace, Architect of Thought. This is the obligatory, we need a Planeswalker in every single one of our Precon decks. So here's one. Jace just kind of isn't even good in Commander, let alone good in this vehicles deck.
Yeah, could we spare you like a Tezzeret or something? I guess not. So Jace is just has nothing to do with this deck in any capacity, so get out of here. We got Release to Memory, which exiles somebody's graveyard, and you get 1/1 spirits equal to the number of creatures you've exiled this way. This is such a weird card because all it is graveyard hate. It's just, that's it. And you get some creatures based on it, but they're not artifacts. We don't even care about exiling graveyards that much. This just does nothing for us.
Yeah, that's not interesting. Next, we got Drum Bellower. Untapping our creatures to recrew. I kind of get that, but it doesn't even untap our vehicles, so this is just not a card we're super interested in.
I think there may be versions of this deck that use this card to great effect. This is not one of them. I don't think you can get there super efficiently on a $50 budget.
Another cut, Swift Reconfiguration. We're not in green, we're not comboing with this card, and it's not good in the other roles it plays.
Stopping a creature from doing combat things, kind of, except they can still do whatever they want if they have 5 other power in play, is just so horribly inefficient. We don't want to make our own things vehicles. If we did, maybe this would have some utility, but it's not removal at all. It doesn't remove text box. It doesn't remove from combat more than any other removal spell would do. So what is this thing supposed to do?
Yes. Also cut Mirage Mirror. You can turn the mirror into a vehicle, I guess, if you have another vehicle. This just kind of doesn't... This is one of those cards where it's does it fit any game plan? It's
you can play it in any deck, but does any deck want it?
That's a great point. Teshar, Ancestors, Apostle. We just don't have enough creatures that we want to be getting back to play Teshar.
It's a good card, and it's oh yeah, artifacts, historic vehicles are historic, but it's what are we getting back? Nothing.
Yeah, it's not for this deck. It's a great Magic card, not for this deck.
Yeah, and lastly, Cataclysmic Gear Hulk. I get it; it's an artifact, but actually, this deck doesn't want that card at all. Because what we're trying to do is spam the board with the same type over and over. Everything we do, or a lot of what we do, is going to be artifacts. Why would we want to wipe it away?
I'll tell you, we wouldn't.
I mean, we have the board wipe in here that's not getting cut. Destroy all non-artifact creatures. Okay, let's do that.
All right, now we're going to add some cards that do fit the game plan. Something that we thought was a good idea was making more vehicles. So we added things like Echo Storm, which for each time we've cast our commander, we can copy an artifact. So if we have a sweet vehicle on the field, let's get 3 of them. If you have a nice Ferrari, why not have 3 Ferraris?
Yeah, some vehicles are better than others, and we have this premium set of vehicles that we really want. So let's make more of them instead of trying to include the worst vehicles. That makes more sense to me.
Yeah, I also like Saheeli's Artistry. Again, if you have 1 Ferrari, why not 3? All you got to do is crew your Ferrari, get inside of it, and it's alive now, obviously, because that's a Ferrari.
Yeah.
And then you copy it. You copy the creature, you copy the artifact. More Ferraris. This is how Ferraris work.
Yeah, Phyrexian Metamorph, that's just an amazing magic
Ferrari.
card. It's an artifact, so it clones basically anything on the board. You can make it a vehicle if you're being proactive, or if you're being defensive, just make it whatever the best creature is and then get a bunch of value out of it.
Will you say Ferrari, please?
No.
So once we have all of our Ferraris, we got to pump them up and get them a little bigger so that we can punch through some damage. Tempered Steel is going to give all our artifact creatures +2/+2. You're going to notice as we go forward that we're making a lot of artifact tokens as well in this deck, not just vehicles. So pumping little servo guys that we're going to get in mirrors or whatever little thing we're going to get is going to be powerful. Also have Forsaken Monument. The first part's not going to do too much here, but the whole idea is we're pumping our colorless creatures, and we will get the advantage of making some wingdings sometimes.
It'll gain some life, too. All right, so with that out of the way, we can kind of take some existing cards that are already in the deck and already on theme, but then cut them for cards that are just way better, way more on theme, more powerful, that kind of thing. So the first thing, got to address the car situation. We got a lot of cars in here, a lot of vehicles, and I don't want all of them in here. Like I said, I'd rather clone the best ones than play bad ones.
So the first cut was Raiders Carve. This is a common from Kaldheim, and I just don't think it's very good. It can ramp sometimes if your deck is stacked in the right way. This card's just, I don't think this card's very good or playable for Commander. It doesn't have big power toughness. It doesn't get in the red zone well. No thanks.
Yeah, we're not looking at the top card of our library, so I don't know if this is going to be good or not, which means it's not good. We also cut Mobilizer Mech. That's the one that when you crew it crews something else, but we're already going to have crew 2 on everything, so it's going to be pretty easy to crew, and this vehicle offers nothing else.
Yeah, it has basically no text. It becomes like a vanilla creature after that. Imperial Recovery Unit is kind of a cool card, but it puts the card back to your hand, and it's just not quite good enough. The rest of our vehicles are just better than this. We cut the bottom ones to have the best ones.
Yeah, Aeronaut Admiral, it's a nice gesture, Wizards, but I don't think I actually care much if my vehicles have flying. This guy is like so unbelievably bad by himself and doesn't work with the general artifact theme of the deck. It's a little iffy. Maybe you could leave this in if you're, flying super good for you, but I think we'd rather just smash him, giving +2/+2 to our team, which isn't something we normally do, but we had to throw it in for the vehicle finisher.
Yes. We cut Katsumasa, the Animator. This card just doesn't do enough. I mean, it's going to put counters on our vehicles at our upkeep, and it's okay, but 2 and a blue to animate to basically crew, that's not very good.
Yeah, usually they do the commanders a little bit better in the precons. This one is just like not a good card. They didn't turn the knobs enough, and they didn't make this an appealing design. I just think this is a card no one's ever going to play, and it's not good in the vehicles deck, which is what it was designed for, so total miss.
Yeah, Armed and Armor, no thank you, just not interested. First thing, half the card is blank. I don't know why. There's this dwarf text for us that we don't care about.
Yeah, it's from Kaldheim when there was dwarves.
Yeah, so we don't even care about that at all. And the other side is just to turn all of our vehicles into creatures. The whole point of this deck is just that we can crew them.
That's what Kotori does, basically.
That's Kotori's job. We don't want a whole card dedicated to... that feels really bad. The whole idea of this deck is your creatures are cars that you have to, crew and get going.
Why are they all cars to you?
They're cars.
Or ships, or planes, or helicopters?
No, they're all cars.
Okay, they're all cars.
They're all cars. And so that's the whole idea of this deck. I don't want a card that's dedicated purely to turning them on. It's that feels so bad.
Yeah, the times when you don't have Kotori and you're like, I have no creatures in play, and 5 vehicles are much less than the times where you just have 3 or 4 creatures in play, maybe a Tempered Steel, and then you got 4 vehicles, and you're like, oh, I'm good to go. Lastly, Dance of the Manse. There's all these cards in the deck. I'm not really sure why. I feel like they maybe... I guess I won't figure out their reasoning for them. But there's all these cards that like return a bunch of stuff from the graveyard, and it's like, how are we getting them in the graveyard? The only way that Dance of the Mance doesn't suck as like a 1 or a 2 for 1 is if you just got absolutely hosed in the game and somebody blew up like all your permanents. But I don't know, like, that's not something I'm going to plan around happening every single time, multiple times a game, where I'm like, yeah, Tashar and Dance of the Mance and some of the other ones we got coming up. We just don't plan on doing this. If we were like perpetual timepiecing and actively milling, then this gets more appealing.
Yes. So for the ads, we have Consulate Dreadnought. It's just a big, giant thing for 1 mana. It's
7-11 and for crew 6.
Yeah, the crew 6 is usually the problem with the card, but the whole idea is our commander's going to get around that, so this thing's going to beat in early and fast.
And with lifelink, too. Right? I mean, on turn 3, you can hit somebody for 7.
Yeah, so it's a 14-point life swing just like that.
You can build your own Sarah Ascended.
We have Conqueror's Galleon. The whole point of this one, you sneak through a hit, you get a land on the other side that can draw your cards, loot your cards, do whatever little thing you want it to do, but also it's ramp. This is ramp in our vehicle slot.
Yeah, super weird ramp. We got Mech Titan Core. It's going to make, once we get enough stuff, which is trivial in this deck, but it's like, this is the deck it was made for. Once we get 5 things, we flip it into Voltron, which is a 10-10 with haste. It's going to smack somebody for even more damage.
Yeah, this thing is huge. Like I said, I love this card. I've mentioned it before.
The payoff's real.
Yeah, the payoff is real. It is a 20-point life swing, and if it's not answered for another turn, it's another 20-point life swing over and over and over again until this thing's answered, and then you get your stuff back.
Right.
You only lose the Mech Titan Core when they remove this, which I really, really like. Reckoner, Bank Buster. This is just card draw. Now we have card draw in our vehicle slot. We're taking vehicles and we're making them fill all these roles.
Yeah, and we, like we said, we'd rather have our best vehicles than some crappy ones from Kaldheim that are commons. So we threw an Anchor to Reality and Deadeye Quartermaster, both cards that go find vehicles. It's kind of like these are going to be some of the best cards in the deck. It's like, what vehicle do I need right now? Here it is right away. The deck already had Sky Sovereign for removal. There was, I think, Weatherlight we kept in for some card draw. There's a bunch of other ones in there, like Smuggler's Copter. Go find whatever's best for you right now instead of, here's a common that is like okay in some deck in limited.
Yeah, you also to mention War of Invention's the same thing. Yeah,
right. War of Invention does that too.
It's just another way to go get whatever we need for the situation, which is going to be a cool card.
And we also mentioned a heavy artifact theme in general for this deck, so these are the cards that are going to pay that off. But some of them just I'm not a fan of. First, we got Riddlesmith. This is actually the card, one of the cards that goes in the deck that doesn't exist, that we're not building towards, of fill your graveyard with artifacts and bring them all back. But it's like the only one, and we can do a little bit better. We had a $50 budget, and we stretched it pretty far, so this guy got cut.
We also cut Whirler Rogue. This card is, I don't think good in Commander. I think it's cool, and it's fine in low power Commander. We're trying to push a little bit higher than the power level this card gives us.
I would just say it's okay. Indomitable Angel gives our artifact Shroud if we have enough of them. I'm just looking at like each individual one of these we like strictly upgrade after we add the cards. Hannah Ship's Navigator is another one. Yeah, it's a good card. How many things are in our graveyard? We're not sacrificing. We're not proactively putting them in there. So if I can't guarantee that this card is not going to be 6 mana Eternal Witness and nothing else over 2 turns, then I'm not playing it.
I'm going to say that I don't think Hannah Ship's Navigator, I don't think is a good card. It's 6 mana, get back 1 thing, 9 mana, get back 2 things. And I know this is in installments and over time, which is better than just paying 9 mana up front. It's just, this card costs way too much and it's really, really slow. We also added, or removed rather, Raph, I hate his name, Raph Capuchin, Ship's Mage. I'm sorry to any Raphs who are watching.
Any Raph fans?
No, if their names are Raph, like just the Raphs that are watching.
All the Raphs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that we have a fan named Raph.
I mean, they're going to be like, my name's Raph with a PH. That doesn't count.
Okay, but he's just not very strong. He gives all of our artifacts or historic spells flash, but I don't think it's enough. We can just do better.
He's not an artifact, and we got a bunch of artifacts. We're trying to make room, trying to make more in here. I think the deck ends up having 39 artifacts in it now. Iron Soul Enforcer. Here we go with this deck that doesn't exist. Attack, get an artifact back. It's like, if they destroyed one, it's okay, but you want to do it every turn, like guaranteed. I want to play it, get a thing back right now on turn 5, maybe cheat some mana, then do it again next turn, then do it again next turn, without question, and we're never going to have that consistency.
I think it's extremely important with this card if you're going to play it in the deck, because I think it's a fairly good card.
It's good.
Your commander needs to be able to attack. And our 2/4 commander cannot attack. So I don't know where this is. It's important to give this ability haste, and the way to do that would be obviously to give him haste, or to just have your commander be a good attacker. Ours is not. Ours is for crewing. That's what we're going to use it for.
Yeah, it's a 2/4.
For ads, Riddlesmith turns straight into Vidalquin Archmage. Whenever we cast an artifact, we draw a card. This is a card I'll be honest, until Archmage Emeritus came out, I didn't know this card existed. This card is really good.
It's very solid. It's like your classic, it's like any sort of Beast Whisperer Guardian Project thing where it's like you play it, as long as you have something to do afterwards, you get your card back, throw a couple cantrips down, like you're in business. You're going to run away with the game, and they got to stop you.
Yep, we also added Mirrodin Besiege, which we can choose 2 things. We're going to always almost choose
I'll take the 1/1s.
Yeah, whenever we cast an artifact, let's get some 1/1s. We have ways to pump them, make them bigger, and we're just going to use them. They'll crew our vehicles as well.
Yeah, you know what the other mode is for? It's for the fake deck that doesn't exist, where you have 15 artifacts in your graveyard. We got Dig Site Engineer. This is a sick one. Whenever you cast an artifact, pay 2, make a Karnstruck, which is guaranteed, I'm just going to say guaranteed 5/5 or bigger in this deck. And then as you make more, they just get bigger, and you smack people. It's like you're making a big vehicle with crew 0.
It's Army in a can. This guy just comes with, as soon as you get him rolling, you don't have to do much else. You can play just like your mana rocks and other like janky artifacts that aren't like hold your other like creature stuff, and then just make him make a huge board and make that be answered.
Something else that's cool about vehicles is they don't die to a lot of the regular board wipes. Blasphemous Act, Toxic Deluge, they're not hitting my vehicles. So hopefully, if we can survive and stuff, and then slam a Dig Site Engineer, Mana Rock. Now we're making Karnstrucks. Now we're crewing the vehicles right away. Katori's back out. It's just madness. We talked about cutting Indomitable Angel. How about Padim? How about we just give everything hexproof always, no matter what? And then if we have the biggest artifact, we draw a card.
Yeah, Indomitable Angel is so much worse.
Wishes it was Padim.
It wishes it was Padim. Padim is amazing in this deck, and we have a lot of expensive cars.
People are going to keep thinking you're saying cards, but you're saying cars.
Yeah, cars.
A 4-letter word.
Yeah, this is a car deck.
With lots of magic cars.
Magic cars. We also got Bronze Guardian in this deck. Absolutely love this card. It's got 5 toughness, and it's got a star for power, where star is the number of artifacts you control. This thing's got double strike, ward 2, and your artifacts have ward 2. Just across the board, all relevant stuff.
And Indomitable Angel's still looking on like, how am I ever going to make this deck? It's like, you're not. Get out. Go home. You're done. You're not going to get played anymore.
Yeah, Bronze Guardian is also, just a better Indomitable Angel.
Okay, next category here is the ramp removal and card draw. We didn't have to touch a lot. I will say that's one positive of this deck is it had a lot of ramp removal and card draw already in it. And to the point where we're like, oh, we don't really need to tune this. Doesn't need an overhaul. It's playing Swords to Plowshares, Dispatch, Generous Gift, Reality Shift. Like, those are just great cards. It has the one-sided board wipe with the Extinction.
Yeah, so what we did is we cut Silvermere, Goldmere. These are a little bit slow. Yeah, they're artifact creatures, but we want our artifact now to be able to tap and use right away most of the time, and the mirrors are just a little bit too weak for what we're looking for. Arcanist Owl, this lets you draw an artifact out of your top 4. It's fine, but we can, again, just do better. These cards are medium.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad rate for Commander. So we added Prismatic Lens and Joyra's Familiar instead of those mirrors. They're going to either consistently reduce the costing of everything we cast, or just be a 2-mana rock that produces mana. We also got some very spicy vehicle tech with Scare Tiller, a card I've literally never put in a deck until right now. It's a 1/4 for 4. When it becomes tapped, you either return a land from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped, or put one from your hand into play tapped, and we're going to be able to crew a vehicle every single turn. So it's kind of like Phyrexian Arena, but if we have one of our lands that goes to the graveyard consistently, it just ramps us every single turn. It's pretty sick.
We also added Daring Thief. Love this. So again, this is all about getting it tapped, which we're going to do by crewing vehicles. When it becomes untapped, we're going to switch things that share a type. We have crappy artifact creatures. We're going to be able to give away a Mir or whatever stupid 1/1 servo. Give it away. Take their best creature and commander, and they're stuck with a dumb Mir.
Right, and now Daring Thief's going to sit and play, and we get to steal a threat if they let us untap with it, literally. And we steal a threat, and then now that's a threat. So, what are you going to kill, the Daring Thief or my threat? Because I just get the threat. You don't get it back when you kill the thief. And I'll just take everybody's commander. I don't care.
For card draw, Thought Monitor. It's going to be a 1-mana divination. Get an artifact creature with flying. Perfect. This works out really, really well. And Shimmer Dragon, tap any two of our artifacts, draw a card. This card is bonkers. We had some budget, so it went toward this.
This is how inexpensive some of these ads were. This is like a $7 card, and we could easily add it. And the thing that I think I'm the most proud of with this deck upgrade is the lands. We got to cut 17 basic lands from this deck. Don't worry, there's still way more where that came from. I don't know why they just skimped on the basics for this one, or on the non-basics for this one. Super weird. There's no utility lands, so we cut 17 basics.
30 basic lands in a commander deck that's not one color, and not only that, that's not one color and cares about basics. Like, you have to be a very specific deck to even be one color and play 30 basics, or on a budget, which makes sense. But Wizards, you're not on a budget. You make the cards.
Where are the utility lands? Where's the other stuff? We got so many awesome ads. This mana base is like bopping. I'm going to go on record right now. This is the best mana base we've ever put in a Precon.
Yes. So first things we added were a lot of artifact lands. A Razor-Tide Bridge is the dual, comes in tapped, indestructible one. Darksteel Citadel's indestructible, but only makes a wingding. Ancient Den and Seed of the Synod are respectively their own colors, and they're just artifact lands.
Yep, we got Buried Ruin to get back our best artifact. Now, this is a low opportunity cost way to play this. It's a land always. It's always going to do something I need, which is make mana. If I have a good thing that dies, great. I'll get it back in the late game. I'm not going to devote 7 slots to this thing, so I'll put it in a land slot. Floodplain, the blue-white slow fetch, irrigated farmland, super awesome tapped duel, Nimbus Maze, untapped duel, Glacial Fortress, untapped duel, Deserted Beach, untapped duel. I'm selling something, or I'm in a commercial.
We got Gyre Sanitarium for some card selection. Maybe this is the one way we have to throw stuff in our graveyard to get it back.
We got Mirror Pool, which is a spicy meatball. It's going to be able to copy our vehicles if we crew them. So it's another addition to that slot in a land, but also can copy a spell if we have some kind of banger. But it's a tap land, so it'll just do things naturally. There's no tap lands in this deck, I don't think, other than maybe 1 or 2. So we added a couple because we could afford to.
Also, I'm going to list these 4 in a row. These are the 4 cards that are just kind of missing from this mana base that they throw in every mana base for these. All the Precons have these 4 cards, it seems like.
Right, and now that we have Scare Tiller, we're like, all right, get all 4 of these in the deck.
So, Mirrored Landscape, Terramorphic Expanse, Evolving Wilds, and Ash Barrens. These aren't the greatest cards, but these are cards that just should have been in this kind of Precon, because there was 30 basics. That is way too many. That is not even... Nobody builds... Even when you're a brand new player, unless you're like the brand newest of players, you're not even going to have that many basics. You know not to put that many basics in your deck. Why would you ever need that many basics?
Yeah, it's just, there's a lot of questions I have. But we can move on to the summary. Well, I don't know. We never have a good name for this, and we call it something different every time. But we're going to wrap it up.
So for the budget, $50. We spent $49.62. Damn, we're good. The original average mana value of this deck was 3.32. The new average mana value is 3.57. We have just been raising it a lot lately, I've been realizing.
Yeah, part of it is Thought Monitor and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, okay, it's not actually, even like the 10-drop board wipe with Improvise, that's not 10 mana. We'd have to go around and change some things, so it's a little bit less, but we raised it. We definitely raised it a little bit.
Yeah, to be fair, also, we do get the advantage of that sometimes, like War of Invention isn't 3 mana.
Right, that's true.
And the total changes are 40s. Yeah, I mean, a lot of that was lands. We went 17 lands. Like 23 normal adds and cuts from non-land stuff. Yeah, that's about right. But 17 lands is a lot.
That feels good. I mean, this deck is absolutely functional. And like this mana base, you can kind of just keep, even if you add another $50 to the main deck, you can just keep the mana base. It'll be like totally fine for you. You don't need to go as far as like if you're still below a fetch land and a shock land. This is like every duel that isn't a fetch and a shock.
Overall thoughts on this card deck is it's a little janky. I think that there's not many ways to really win the game because vehicles are kind of a hard thing to work with. It's basically you're playing creatures with an extra hoop. And that's all fine, but the deck looks really cool and fun to play once you get it going. It's just know you're playing a little jank.
You're trading more fun during the game on average for your win condition. As long as it involves vehicles, it has to be a little slower. You can all right, smack you for like 25, untap realistically, especially since they're not creatures on their turn, smack you for 25, kill you, build up again, and then just take out the other 2 players at once. Like that might be what a game looks like, as opposed to, all right, here's my thing, do my critical mass loop here, get you guys all dead on one turn.
But that is our video. Special shout outs to every single one of our supporter patrons who make this video possible.
They are the best people in the entire universe, and you could join their ranks if you go to the description. It's that simple.
It is literally that simple. If you want to support us without giving us money directly, you can go to tcgplayer.com where you can buy any of the Magic cards we just talked about. You can buy the Precon. You can buy some whatever. Buy Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Buy Mech Titan tokens.
Buy Mech Titan tokens, and you spend the same money you were going to spend anyway, but the Nitpicking Nerds get a kickback this time.
Same is true of Dragon Shield. If you want sleeves and you want to support the Nitpicking Nerds, but you don't want to do both, which is completely reasonable, you can just go buy sleeves, which that's the one I would recommend you do. But if you start with the link, we just get some extra money anyway.
Yeah, and the best sleeves in the multiverse.
Good sleeves.
Yeah. So what are we at here?
About our lives.
Well, we can mention Maraschiello.com where you can go and follow us, and you go to that website. It's a pretty cool website. You can build decks there, but follow us. Follow us while you're there. We need more followers.
Keep up with our decks.
We're the number one. So right now
we have claimed the throne. We didn't even say that, but we achieved our little mission, and we are now on top of Moxfield for most popular user.
We are. There was a little Twitter beef.
Fake. There was Twitter beef?
Fake Twitter beef.
With what?
Oh, just somebody else saying like, "Oh, I'm coming for you" or something.
Well, come at me. Let's go. I don't think we've talked about this yet, but if we did, too bad. Here's another one. We just watched Murderville on Netflix with David Arquette, right? Nope. Will Arnett.
Yeah.
Their names rhyme, okay? Whatever. Will Arnett's in it, and it's like an improv show where there's this basic plot that's the episode, but then they throw in a celebrity guest who just has no script and just has to interact, and they always make them do stupid stuff. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's so good. Like
they had some good guests. They had Conan O'Brien, Sharon Stone, Marshawn Lynch, Ken Jeong.
Who are we missing? Annie Murphy.
Yeah, Camille. I think that was it, right? That was
Camille. Yeah, I can never remember Camille's last name. Sorry.
You know who he is.
You know who. He's hilarious. I mean, the guy's freaking hilarious. But that was probably one of the best episodes, literally.
Oh, yeah, it was so good. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's so goofy, and they nail it. There's probably a lot of bad ways to do improv comedy. This was not one of them.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, like you said, improvised stuff is, like, really tough to do, but it is an hilarious show, and I strongly suggest that people go watch it. It's really enjoyable. It's got a really dumb plot, too. Like, the whole point is...
Oh, it's so cliche.
It's so cliche, and everything's over the top. Like, the whole idea is, like, the celebrity guest has to solve the case by themselves.
Yeah.
And it's...
They throw in the most ham-fisted clues. It's like a 6-year-old could come in.
Well, sometimes, like, the clues, like, I miss them. But a lot of times they go, like, Feds took my passport. It's like,
oh, he can't travel. He couldn't have gone to this country.
It's a really funny show. And every time the chief comes in for like the start of the episode, she goes like, "There's
been a murder.
There's been a murder." It's like, oh, it's so good. It's
Check it out.
Such a dumb show, and I absolutely loved it. I hope they do a season 2 of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Peace out, Tribe Scouts. There's been a murder.
Well, too bad, because there's been a murder.